For May the 31st, 2013, we talk about the continuing story of the Xbox One, Word Realms, and we ask you about midnight releases. Welcome to the 22nd level. My name is Kole Ross.
I'm Dennis Furia.
I'm David Moneysmith.
And Ben Merkel will be joining us shortly, I am led to believe. And you're listening to The Level, which is a podcast for people who love video games. Thank you so much for tuning in. Especially if you still have hope after last week's whole Xbox thing. I don't know how much I want to talk about that anymore. I
think we beat it to death in the last episode.
That was actually my brief.
What was it? Okay. Oh, well. A knockdown, drag out, and by that I mean I get knocked down, then we all get dragged back into it. I don't know. It's funny. It's it's the podcaster's dilemma, right? Where a huge thing happens, and obviously everybody's going to be talking about it, but then you listen and everybody else talks about it, and you're like, oh man, if somebody was listening to this, what are we adding? I don't know. It's like a little bit of a crisis. So I don't know. I like that we do news, but man, I was real bummed.
Luckily, crisis is in fact something they're adding.
What?
Yeah, new Crisis game. Haven't they announced that?
I think there's Crisis 3. I think that there is. I don't know. I was real bummed out earlier today. I try and go on walks because I'm in a walkable neighborhood now. I saw a little baby bird just down in the grass between the sidewalk and the street. It wasn't a baby. He was walking around. He had some feathers. It was a fledgling robin, so he was obviously just kind of out on his own, and the nest was still right there. But it was like, a cat's gonna get you, dog. Run. Just fly. Find your nest. I can't pick you back up. You got to learn yourself. But I'm just gonna be bummed out and reading up about what I should have done on the internet later.
That's probably the most horrifying experience of my childhood, since we're going down that road.
Okay.
Was we found these baby bunnies, whose, I guess something happened to the mom. I forget exactly how we found them. I think my dad found them in the front yard or something like that. Mm-hmm. And they were so cute and squeaked and were baby bunnies, and we were just in love with them. And so we were going to keep them in a box overnight, and then we were going to take them to an animal shelter. Well, we made the genius decision to leave the box out on our front porch.
Uh-oh.
And literally the next morning, our entire front porch was just covered in blood.
Blood and fluff.
And yeah, blood. No, you think you're kidding. Blood and little baby bunny parts. And we were mortified. And some cat was very satisfied.
Very full.
Yeah.
I
worked.
Good.
I worked with a fellow that had a yard, and I don't know why we're getting on this story.
Roll with it. Yes, and
had a yard, and was in a constant war with the bunny rabbits. So finally one day they him and his wife are out walking. They find this nest or whatever, a whole bunch of baby bunnies. So they decide they're going to, do something with him, take him out and release him. So, as his wife's going out to get the car or something, he scoops him up into a bag. But while she's away, he scoops up a whole bunch of dirt clods into a bag. So when she comes back, he proceeds to toss the bag with the dirt clods up in the air, pull out his shotgun and shoot it.
Jesus Christ.
And apparently his wife did not speak to him for a week.
I wonder why.
As well she shouldn't have.
I mean, no actual harm done, but
right. But still,
I think that'd be hilarious.
Your true self comes out in the dark, and also when you're presented with a bag of bunnies, I guess. Yeah. When I was living by campus, I would sit outside and I saw a bird swat a starling out of the sky, like a starling just flew too low, and the bird's like, "Yeah, you're mine now." And then I just saw it walk away with this bird in its jaws. I was like, "Do you mean this is my bird?" Sorry. Yeah, the cat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the cat swatted the bird out of the sky and then just walked away with it.
Nuts.
Animals, man. Animals. So, as you guessed, this is a podcast about video games for people who love it.
You wouldn't have guessed it from that opening.
I don't even fucking know anymore, you guys. But we're going to talk about some neat things. Why don't we jump right into it with the brief? It is now time for the brief, where we talk about video games and things that happen in the world of video games. Dennis, during the break, you were saying that you had one that you wanted to do. Now go.
All right, although it is also related to the Xbox One, so who knows?
Damn it.
This is going to be Xbox One Part 2. But no, it came out based on a patent that was filed that the new Xbox might give you achievements for watching TV.
Oh, yeah.
Because you really need an excuse to start your 8th episode of Game of Thrones in a row at 3 a.m.
I don't know. I kind of wish that I got an achievement for watching all of the new Arrested Development season within 24 hours.
Oh, damn.
I know, right?
Yeah, 24 and 24. I want that Chivo.
Yeah. No. So it's just a patent, though. There are tons of patents that get filed but don't.
Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah. But there's been like a bunch of that. So the one story I was trying to think of last week during the press conference, since this literally is part 2, they kept on like trying to demonstrate the Kinect thing, and they would say Kinect on, Kinect or Xbox, take me home. But people's Kinects on their existing Xbox 360s were listening.
No way.
So like it would just break the stream and send them back to the. and send them back to their home screen, and they're like, what the hell?
Oh, embarrassing mistake or best troll ever.
That's pretty good. And then there was this awesome patent filing. This is a Sony patent filing, but I want to kick the image over to you, and then I will explain what's happening triptych style. Let me know when you have that open. But it's a similar TV watching thing, and this is kind of the same. So in this patent image filing, there is somebody who is sitting on their couch in front of a television show. It's patent drawing, so there's like a little like vague humanoids. One of them is shooting somebody. And then on the screen, there's a picture of a hamburger, and the TV is saying, say McDonald's to end commercial. Panel 3, somebody is standing up with his arms up, raised in the air, and he says, McDonald's! And then he sits back down, and then the person shooting the other person again.
Truly, that is pure evil.
Pavlov just rolled over in his grave.
It's pretty good. Yeah. Long live the new flesh.
I've got to say, though, the one about Chivos for TV, that does seem like just very stereotypically America, but I could see actually a lot of fun things you could do with that.
Can you give me an example,
watch
please?
Star Wars on May the 4th.
Oh yeah, okay.
Nice. I was going to say, I demand we brainstorm some Chivos for this, because my idea was that there would be one called Irony, and you watch the Today Show tomorrow.
No, you watch the Today Show when the Tonight Show's on. Yeah, see?
I like that.
I don't know. So I always associate... Okay, so achievements do two things. One, they encourage you to do things that you otherwise wouldn't do before. And then they also give you this record of things that you have done, right?
Right.
So, like, watching a TV show isn't doing a thing aside from watching the TV show. Like, it doesn't pop up a quiz and say, what kind of acid did Walter White dissolve that body in? It's like, well, no, that's not the point. You get the...
Yeah, right. No. Make it interactive. I mean, the Kinect is always watching, right? So maybe if you make it through a scary movie without jumping at any of the jump scenes, you get an achievement.
Okay, do you mean make it through a scary movie or make it through the Wayans Brothers scary movie?
Well, either or.
Yeah.
It could be multiple levels.
Yeah.
Although, I mean, in terms of, the second one, record of something you've done, truly... some of the things we've mentioned actually could constitute that.
Watch all of Battlestar Galactica. It's like a platinum level, or I don't know what they have, 1,000 million gamer points.
What are you trying to say? I'm like 3 episodes away from the end.
Oh, you're kidding me?
I now have all along the Watchtower permanently stuck in my head.
I think I've heard, maybe even on this show, that trying to watch Battlestar Galactica from the beginning is like trying to read Time, the magazine, from the beginning.
Wait, so Battlestar Galactica, like the reboot, because that came out in like 2005 and ran for like 6 years, which
I'm watching the most recent one, and there's 4 seasons apparently.
Yeah, there's 4 seasons. Are you talking about Mr. Who, like where like
Doctor Who?
Doctor Who, Doctor No? What?
I thought Battlestar Galactica was just like one large continuum with lots of different. People are going to be so mad at me right now.
No, you're thinking of Doctor Who.
Different variants.
Yeah, you're thinking Doctor Who. And I also did that, or at least I also did that for the reboot.
Right.
Yeah, watching the originals from the beginning is actually impossible because a whole bunch of them have been lost.
Like lost in a fire. Yeah.
Wow.
So, but yeah, no, watching Battlestar Galactica from the beginning just gets really weird.
Yeah, like the 70s one didn't even run for that long either. I don't know.
I watched the like season opener or the pilot for the first Battlestar Galactica on a lark, and man, it had some good old fashioned camp to it.
I could see it being like, like if you wanted to watch something by like the same creator, like, going over again. So like, just for example, like, if you watch all of Firefly, Buffy, Dollhouse, Angel, blah blah blah, you get the Joss Whedon Award or something like that. Like something that encouraged you to find new content. But Bob Mackey had a tweet that was just like saying, all of this stuff is just like new ways to get ads in front of us, and to again, that whole Pavlov thing, right? Just like find ways to incentivize and just make people not care that they are being manipulated into consuming something, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not being paranoid. I'm not being. I am being a little bit paranoid. I'm not being paranoid in comparison to the people who say like, "Oh my God, the Connected's going to watch me poop," But
although I've got to say that really, I'm not a whole fan of the always on Connect.
You carry 4 microphones in your pocket.
Yes, and
that is always
most of them disabled.
I mean, if you carry a cell phone on, like even like a cell phone is a bigger worry. It also has like 3 cameras on it. No big deal. But yeah, that's I don't know. Achievements. Who knows if they're actually going to go through with that? Their whole like multimedia scheme is weird to me. But
see, I feel like the weird thing about it is, they're basically, everything I'm reading is basically saying Xbox's entire strategy is the money is not in games, it's in selling this as a media box. And it's like, if the money is not in games, then why did you put in all these asinine features to protect people from maybe reselling your game, Horror of Horrors?
I don't know, and it's another thing. Like, you can already buy a bunch of TV and music on the Xbox, like the Zune Marketplace or the X. Like that's been there forever, but it's trapped inside that ecosystem. Like, if you think that Apple has limitations on what you can do with your shit when you have the shit in the shit, like that's nothing compared to I have this thing on my Xbox and now I can't do anything else with it. So it's real. Ugh. David, you said you had an Xbox One. Oh, I liked that. So is Xbone the way of the future?
I think that's the thing now. Yeah.
Okay.
I still like the Xbox Y, but
no, I like Xbone though.
I know. I've mostly been all my news reading of video games has mostly been Xbox One, but I don't know. I feel like watching it. I know. I feel like I did manage to find the one press release statement that kind of sums it up. Because for a while there, I felt like I was like watching Crash. Everyone seems to have a different perspective and conflicting viewpoints,
Yeah.
but the only constant is, people doing awful things. But the PA report linked a statement by an EA executive. I don't know if you've either read it or I can link it to the Roy, but basically his the corporate speak, and it's fairly bad, but his major arguments is more or less that the next generation consoles will be an entire generation ahead of the fastest PCs.
Right.
Because apparently people developing technology hate money, so they won't sell it to anyone else. And he argues that the compute capabilities, which is, I guess, a term, essentially removes any notion of rationing system resources for our game engines.
Okay.
So apparently we can look forward to, seeing the entire Chinese army depicted on screen at one time, and then, having a 1,000 player on 1,000 player match.
Okay.
And not only that, but it'll allow for more detailed appearance down to the lighting and clothing on soldiers, which is truly refreshing because I hated all those games where I run around naked in the dark. And also he pointed out that sports games will incorporate crowd energy and weather and player behavior. So all those memories of playing games with those features in college were, obviously Gabe Newell, just piping mind control rays into me.
Right.
So, he kind of his overall summary is that, you don't have to be an engineer to embrace the power of these new devices and appreciate them. But, I don't know. I'd kind of go even further and say that, not being an engineer would probably help to appreciate them quite as much as he does. I know. It's just like the entire article is just complete, none of it makes sense. It's kind of the video you linked with the fish, Dennis.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I kind of feel like this is just, people talking about how revolutionary all of this is, where none of it's actually revolutionary at all.
Huh. I don't know. So there are a couple of things that are like true, right? Which is that, yes, a top of the line, PC will probably be, as powerful or, something like that, or more powerful than these particular things, but it's than these next generation systems. However, it's about like mass adoption, right? Like everything travels in these generations, but with, PC technology specifically, you have the tick and the tock. With Intel, right? Where every year or every other year, there's like a major upgrade to the architecture. So like the previous one was Ivy Bridge. This year you have Haswell.
Don't remind me.
So, and then the talk or the tick or whatever is like, okay, an incremental speed boost or a die shrink or something like that, and then you go back to the tick and something like that. Whereas you have these really long console kind of generations where they are kind of like banking up, and then they just kind of like step up way beyond and find a way to mass produce those in a way that gets it into people's into people right there. And so like when a new system is about to come out, that's a terrible time to buy a PC, because there's a lot of technology that's in those there's a lot of technology that's in those consoles that these developers are going to be designing their games for, that the PC that you're going to buy right now on whatever budget that you have isn't going to be able to match whatever is on there, at least in terms of consistency, et cetera, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So like the best time to buy a PC is a couple of years into a console generation, for gaming, of course, is a couple of years into a console generation, so that you are getting the benefits of that extra technology after it's gotten the kinks worked out and after they've found their economies of scale, et cetera, et cetera. So I think that might be part of what he's saying. I haven't read all of the stuff right here. And then like talking about like systems and stuff, think about like all of the huge, like when he's talking about having more stuff on screen. One of the big deals about the Xbox 360, and I hate that I haven't read this guy's stuff. I don't know why I'm defending his opinions.
Most of that was also me just making fun of him.
Okay, that's fine.
He did say that there are now absolutely no limits on rationing system resources. I was just pointing out that that's an incredibly stupid thing to say because obviously they can't truly depict every member of the Chinese army on screen, but you could if you didn't have to ration system resources.
Right. So like, if you only have a certain number of pixels to put on the screen, if you just have, high definition, there's going to be this soft ceiling on how much graphical fidelity you're going to squeeze out of a new machine, right? However, most of that horsepower is going to go into doing things like, doing a more kind of like rich simulation, either of the physics or either of, more things fish. On the, or fish, right? More things on the screen, or, just kind of like doing stuff that isn't, that isn't, particularly visual. Look at something like Watch Dogs, where they have all of these, like this collision of a bunch of different systems that couldn't have been done right now just because of how much stuff they would have to have in memory, or how many individual actors they would have to keep track of, right? So yeah, it's kind of dumb, and like banking all of the future on like, if we can just if everything is part of Voltron in the cloud, and all the Xboxes work together, like what happens when there's only like 5 Xboxes, or if that system goes down? Do I just go back to like a shitty Atari version of this game? It's weird.
Although let's be honest, I would actually probably buy this system if there's the possibility for me to like unplug and suddenly playing like Atari Halo.
Oh man, boundless optimism.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. I just feel like I don't know. Maybe this is just like marketing, but there is nothing new. There's never anything new. Things are just iterative. That's things will be somewhat better than they were before, and when the next console release comes, they'll be somewhat better then. That's how technology works.
Right. Man. I don't know. I'm adding Ben to the call.
Hello.
Hey, Ben.
How's it going?
It's going fine. How are you?
I'm all right.
Good. We are in the middle of the brief.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Right on.
I'll do my story, and we'll give you an opportunity to get caught up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Am I sounding okay?
Yes, you're sounding just fine.
Okay, cool.
Cool. I'm not going to edit any of that out. So my story is that the Humble Indie Bundle 8 just launched today, this previous Tuesday when you're listening to it. It's a winner. It looks really good. So it's got, let's see here, you get 5 games if you just pay anything, and then there are 2 that you get for going above and beyond. Some of the highlights here, you get Hotline Miami, Little Inferno, Thomas Was Alone, and Dear Esther, along with some other ones, people like Awesome Knots. I'm not really sure. I have not played it. Capsized, I tried to play it, but it doesn't run on Mac. And then Proteus is kind of a weird exploration graphical kind of thing that is really divisive. But you get the soundtracks, and a lot of them work on Mac. But yeah, like even just for Hotline Miami, Little Inferno, and Dear Esther, you are in for a treat if you get this thing.
Mm-hmm. So there are now more Humble Indie Bundles than there are Police Academy movies.
Is that how we're measuring these things?
That's how I measure all things.
Yes. So take for instance,
I'm excited to see some of your math papers in college.
Yep. For example, it is the year 2013. There have been 2013 years since the birth of Jesus Christ, and that is many, many more years than there have been Police Academy movies.
See, no. Actually, we date things based on when the first Police Academy movie.
Oh
was.
Yeah, AG after Gutenberg. Or sorry, Anno Guttenberg. Sorry.
So pet peeve, just random pet peeve. I hate it when people do 2013 AD It's effing AD 2013.
You know,
Sorry.
Oh, really?
the gauntlet has been thrown.
Is it VC 2013
No,
as well?
BC comes after, but AD comes first. I have no earthly idea why, but it's one of those things that, like, I know to be true, and so now it bugs me.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Huh. So yeah, that's pretty neat. I encourage people to do that thing. I think the average price is like $6, something like that. It's real low if you want to lowball it. Just pay what you think.
Yeah, I can speak to the quality of Thomas Was Alone as well.
Yeah.
Am I the only one that hates the whole pay what you want thing?
Why is that?
Just like, I'm probably dramatically less likely to pay anything or pay and buy anything that's pay what you want just because I don't know what to pay. Like if they were like, hey, you can pay whatever you want, but here's our recommendation, then that'd be cool.
Well, I mean, like the Humble Indie Bundle does it in a real neat kind of way, where it's just kind of like, you can give us a penny and we'll give you these games, but there's more if you go above the average. And the average is kind of this weird way that everybody is deciding what this thing is worth to them.
So I guess
Right.
the average is the recommended price.
Kind of, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because like I've was some of the things on I think it's Bandcamp, do a similar
right.
thing where it's like pay what you want, and like I've had times where it's like I really want this album, but I end up not buying it because I can't make up my mind what to pay, and I'd rather just not have it.
Yeah, I mean, it's the paralysis. Okay, it makes no sense, but I will say, in a way, it does kind of make sense because it's paralysis by too much choice, right?
Right. Yeah.
Whereas, like with Bandcamp, it's like, okay, pay what you want for this album. What would I pay for an album on iTunes? Okay, $10. Do I really like this band? Do I want to give them something extra? $15. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
You just find these heuristics for coping with day-to-day life.
Well,
There's
it's like,
a lot of stuff I can't cope with, but I found these.
Tips are anxiety inducing enough, and what they've done is they've taken away all payment, and the entire thing is just a tip.
Oh yeah,
I do leave tips. I'm not Mr. Was it Pink?
Yeah, you're not Mr. Pink.
But I really despise the whole concept of tips. That really just
like can we literally, like, let's change the topic to something a little bit less incendiary, like Israel and Palestine or circumcision. Like tipping will
I told you, anxiety inducing.
people will throw eggs at us for talking about tipping.
And they won't put money in the tip jar.
No, just like barbarians. What's the deal with the tip jar? I want to hand this. Have you guys seen the Amy's Baking Company
No.
wait, what?
thing? I've talked about this on at least 3 podcasts so far. There's an episode of Kitchen Nightmares, the Gordon Ramsay. Like, oh, this restaurant's failing. Let's go into this, and help them out. And oftentimes they're like making stupid mistakes, or they're just clueless and they don't know what they're doing. They went to this baking company, like a shitty restaurant in Scottsdale, Arizona, and it's like, hey, I'm here to help you out, and like. Their whole thing is like they cook shitty food. People leave bad reviews on Yelp, and then they hunt them down and like harass them in order to get them to take the bad review down.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
It's run by a husband and wife, and they're absolutely fucking nuts. Like the wife says, "Oh, anyway, I have 3 kids, but they're in cat bodies. I speak feline, meow meow meow." It's the most bizarre thing. Like, I don't watch reality television, but this has like turned me on to at least this particular show. The British version I like a little bit better. However, the whole tipping thing is like one of the big explosive things was like they took the waitress's tips.
Ooh. It's got to be illegal, right?
It is. It's like wicked illegal. It is as illegal as it can be, and it's like. Yeah, so people like Gordon Ramsay made like a big show of it just by saying, "Hey, just so you know, your tips are going to the owners and not to this nice waitress lady." And the waitress was just a nice girl, just 16, walking around doing her thing, and everybody's like, just handing it directly to her so she could keep it. And then Gordon was like, "Here, I'm giving this to you. Do not give this to the owners." and then like he walked out. It was so yeah, that's about as shitty as it can get. I didn't mean to like derail us on that tip. But
Ben, there hasn't been a lot of video games on this video game podcast.
No.
What else is new?
Yeah. So I don't know. Yeah, but don't just tips. Just move the decimal one place to the left and double it. Just be a human being. Okay. Ben, how about you? How about a brief?
I do have one, surprisingly, but so it came up last week. But since we were all about the Y box last week, I didn't mention
Y
it.
box.
They also released a trailer for the next Batman game.
Oh yeah. Arkham Origins.
Yeah, so it's like the trailer is just like a 5-minute long fight scene. Doesn't really tell you. Well, I guess it tells you that Black Mask, I guess, is the main bad guy of the game.
Okay.
And he was already kind of alluded to in the second one, not in the main storyline, but in some of the bonus, like small nugget-sized missions,
right?
That like challenge mode or whatever. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. Again, my expectations are very low since it's a different game company and not Rocksteady.
Right.
But yeah, it's a thing. Check it out. Maybe I'll even provide a link. So that
please do.
You can check it out easily.
Do we know what Rocksteady is doing now, or are they kind of on NDA until NDA?
Yeah, they haven't announced their project, and they're usually kind of hush-hush about what they're working on. So
yeah.
Urban Chaos 2. Cross my fingers.
I have to say, though, I was legitimately disappointed that it wasn't like Arkham State or something.
Arkham World.
Yeah, Arkham Planet. Super Arkham Galaxy.
No. This being DC, they can go even farther. It could be like Arkham Multiverse.
Oh, yeah. Arkham Earth 616. No, it's Marvel. Fuck. That is a joke that is funny to 5 people. But
they could do a crossover.
How many times do we have to watch Batman's fucking origin story? Like,
I don't know.
Like, just you guys.
It's different every time.
Yeah,
you should watch Batman Begins, and you should watch Mask of the Phantasm, and then just leave it at that.
Like this, like they've already done this as Batman Year One. Like that's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not his parents dying. It's not him. This is like him as like a sophomore level vigilante.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
So it's like the sequel to a Batman's Origins.
I guess, but like it's like him making a bunch of mistakes. He swings into a building. Mary Jane leaves him for James Franco.
Wait a minute.
Well, not James Franco. Okay, so it's not James Franco's character. It leaves him for actual James Franco. It's like Julia Roberts in Ocean's 12. Was that Ocean's 12?
Where
she plays herself.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
The worst.
Shark jumping.
Oh man.
I did not mind Ocean's 12. If we want to, we can save that for later. Despite
Ocean's 13 definitely recontextualized it. I don't know. I mean, it was good, dumb fun. I like Catherine Zeta-Jones. She's fine. And by fine, I mean.
Man, I need to go watch Ocean's 12 again. Apparently, there's some stuff I don't remember.
Oh, there's a guy doing parkour around some lasers.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
slow motion breakdancing.
Yeah.
To awesome music. I forget who does the music for that film, but
it was an early career move by Deadmau5.
The Grind.
It's time for The Grind, where we talk about the video games that we have been playing in the past week since we last spoke. Does anybody want to volunteer to go first?
I've got one. I could
do
it. This past weekend, Steam had a free weekend for Defiance.
Right. The MMO by Tryon Worlds.
Right, and I really liked what I saw of Rift, and that seemed to be pretty legit. So I tried this. Kind of its big. Well, it's two big things. One, it's a third-person shooter.
Right.
and 2, it's got a tie-in with a sci-fi channel series.
Yeah, television show.
Yeah. So I tried it, and I don't know. I mean, I think the first, it truly is a legitimate shooter. It doesn't do like the...
Its parents were married?
What?
That was the... Sorry, it wasn't worth it.
It doesn't do the, like, Tabula Rasa, wherever that game was, where it's like, kind of a shooter, but really it's just like a really roundabout way to have you do regular MMO controls.
Yeah, still die rolls, yeah.
Right. So that's actually pretty cool. And they do a lot of good stuff. You pretty much right out of the box, get the ability to summon a four-wheeler, so they're or ATV or whatever. So you don't have to do just going on foot everywhere.
Are you tired of not doing sweet jumps? Then you're gonna love having an ATV. Yeah.
So I feel like it's definitely got some stuff going for it. On the other hand, I don't know. It kind of does the thing where pretty much all of the missions, all mission objectives boil down to like, hold down this button to fill a gauge to accomplish this.
Right.
So it ends up being like almost all of the difficulty is just like, can I kill off the guys enough in order to, fill up this gauge and get finished without getting shot and like having to start over again.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It kind of does that thing where it's a lot of this challenge is more just like using the cover to not die as opposed to the shooting actually being that hard.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But the storyline seems pretty good. Lots of cutscenes, lots of voice acting. I haven't seen the actual series to know if it's any good, but
one of them is a prequel to the other, something like that.
Yeah, they're supposed to happen at about the same time.
Right.
Do decisions or events from one affect the other?
I think that's what they're aiming for, yeah.
Yeah, that's the idea. But as far as I can tell, the basic premise is aliens come to Earth because their world gets destroyed, and, want to be friends. Humans don't accept them, and war breaks out, and ultimately the alien terraformers that they were planning on using before they realized that people were actually there accidentally get turned on and basically gets halfway through terraforming the world, which is a lot like having the apocalypse happen.
Right.
And so the humans and the aliens decide, hey, maybe we should work together.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Hilarity ensues.
Is this one where it's like, so there's no like direct bad guy, it's just the world is like halfway run amok?
I have not seen a direct bad guy so far. One of the alien races, overtly, like, their kind of social setup is, like, really, really heavily caste system. However, they pretty much left behind all the lower class because they didn't have room in their ships. So they kind of feel that everyone else should just become the new lower class.
Right.
So they're not exactly evil so much as they are just, like, overtly arrogant and, selfish, I guess, kind of.
We need someone to oppress. You'll do.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of, I don't know. I haven't figured out. Like, I'm hoping that a lot of it is not just like, let's do preachy allegories about like racism and tolerance and stuff.
But I mean, it's
like maybe they're teeing that up.
It's a plausible kind of, like, oh, that's an interesting reason why they would establish that dynamic. They didn't have room on the boat or on the lifeboat, so let us establish this new lower class. I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I guess that angle on is actually kind of interesting. Yeah. And the other thing I like that's kind of interesting that plays into that, and granted I haven't seen it with that, is there's like 5 alien races, and they each have a very unique religious structure. So like that one, the kind of evil race is very like dogmatic, monotheistic. One of them's very like animistic, stuff like that. So it seems like to a certain degree, maybe they're kind of doing, exploring some of how some of the different like societal structures interact and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so that seems like it could be interesting, but
right.
I don't know. I wasn't hugely impressed by it, but at the same time, I like the company that made it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hoping it ends up being good.
Yeah, I mean, you liked Auto Assault, right?
Auto Assault was one of those games that was just really flawed.
Right.
It was really great in that it was basically Twisted Metal with a storyline and like MMO.
Right.
The problem is, and a really cool crafting system.
Right.
The problem is they just never quite pulled off the whole, like you basically didn't need other people, and driving around at 80 miles per hour makes it really hard to have a coherent class structure.
Right. Class system.
Yeah.
See, the cars came to town, but they didn't have enough room for the low class cars. So it's all these luxury.
Type at this auto
it's all these luxury cars, but they don't have any Ford Festivas or pickup trucks. So they made humans into their Ford Festivas and pickup trucks.
Wasn't that one Stephen King?
Maximum Overdrive?
Kind of.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, so they had a free weekend. Are you interested in continuing beyond the weekend, or was this your taste?
It's free to play, but you have to pay regular price $60 for the game.
Right.
It's one of those things where it's a game I think I would play and enjoy, but I just can't justify that entry fee.
Right.
I kind of wish they had done it the other way around and had it be free to get, but play a subscription or just been like, hey, we're subsidizing free advertising for this show. It costs $15.
Right.
Yeah.
But
although video games generally cost a little more to create and maintain than a TV spot.
True.
Just a hunch.
Although the one thing I find funny is one of the plot elements that truly was, of course, done entirely for creative reasons is that one of the few surviving technologies was a crap ton of Dodge cars that were like in storage underground in Detroit.
Yeah.
And so all vehicles in the post-apocalyptic world are Dodge.
That's hilarious.
It's like, of course, this was nothing to do with marketing, and ignore any money we might have gotten. But it is kind of badass to see like a fully armored Mad Max style Charger driving around.
Oh yeah, I mean like there are cool Dodge cars. So
yeah, Dodge
like, it could be a worse brand.
Pontiac.
It could just be like the only cars left are Hyundais. Fuck.
Smart cars.
Yeah. Before I realized how out of my price range they were, I was looking at a Dodge Avenger, but
Oh yeah, those are very cool.
Yeah, I don't know. This isn't Car Talk. We're not based out of Boston, you guys. Have you been playing anything else?
There's going to be an opening. I mean,
no, true.
Or is there already? I don't know if they've gone into reruns yet.
I really don't like that show.
It's not my favorite.
Just wait until you're 40 plus years old.
Oh yeah, it's not for us. Yeah, we're walking around listening to Radio Lab like we've got all the time in the world, not a care.
I enjoy Car Talk. Cole, I feel like you would enjoy Car Talk too.
I haven't gotten into it as much as I think as much as I think you think I should have.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think the warning sign is once you start liking Prairie Home Companion, that's when you know you're old.
It's I always turn away from that. I don't know.
At least it's better than Oh, what's the Prairie Home Companion counterpart? It's like, what do you know? Yeah, what do you know? Oh,
Wait, don't tell me.
no, wait, don't tell me is usually pretty good. What
Yeah.
do you know is horrible.
I just watch NPR, or watch it. Yes, I watch it.
I stare intently at my car radio.
I just listen to NPR for like the human interest stories. I like to believe that the news does not have to be soul crushingly depressing.
Oh, by definition, David.
Yeah, they usually tend to have intersperse it.
Oh man, anything else on your side, David?
That's really. Oh no, I do have to say one of my favorite phrases that's ever been said to me in online gaming. I was playing with some people Guild Wars last night, and we're doing one of their kind of mini dungeons. Mm-hmm. And we get up, and they're like, someone over the mic is, "All right, this is the Guitar Hero part of the dungeon." And basically what it ends up being is this part where you have to run up this ramp, but the ramp's kind of split up into like 5 side-by-side parts, and there's these little electrical arcs coming down one of them, so you have to like dodge back and forth, sort of like inverse Guitar Hero.
Okay.
But just the image of like, this is the dungeon's Guitar Hero room. It has claimed the lives of many adventurers before you.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Do you guys mind if I go next? Because I've got a couple.
Oh,
actually.
please.
Go for it.
So I beat Bioshock Infinite over the weekend.
Whoa! You totally exceeded my expectations of that. You just got to Monument Island last week, right?
Yeah, I dedicated all of Saturday to it. I didn't touch. Yeah. I basically played all of Bioshock Infinite on Saturday.
Nice.
Yeah, I know, right? It's real good. I like it. It's cool. I can see where a lot of people have like they think is wrong with it. In regards to its theme and stuff that happened, how the point where it lost me and the point where I was just kind of like, fuck this, was the last mission. Ben, you know what I'm talking about. It's the only escort mission in the game.
Maybe
You're in the air. Yeah, no. So see, I understand what you're trying to do. However, by going,
oh yes,
yeah.
gotcha.
Okay, yeah. That was kind of some bullshit. But man, that ending.
Yeah,
I
right?
I love the world. I love the story. Like, so much of that just caught me off guard. And like it just in the last like third of the game after like the turn on it. We're speaking intentionally vaguely, but this is all to say.
Yeah,
like,
thanks, guys.
Yeah,
spoiler cast coming soon. So.
Yeah, definitely. We're gonna get it scheduled now that I've beaten it. Scheduled.
I really want did you see someone's doing stuffed songbirds?
Oh, awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, the little like stitchy leather ones like they have in like every shop there.
Right. Oh, that'd be really cool. I like when people make artifacts of stuff that happens, like in-game stuff in the real world, like Riff from Video Games Hot Dog. He recently he made an actual playing card deck of all of the trading cards from Deadly Premonition.
Nice.
So all the characters and stuff.
Legit.
Yeah. So.
Didn't you post a while back? Didn't someone make the soapstones from that one game?
Dark Souls?
Yeah. Yes, from Dark Souls.
Yeah. I don't know if I posted that or if that was Gary. It's yeah. But yeah, it's Bioshock. Go ahead.
I have 2 questions.
Okay.
Do you like it more or less than the first Bioshock?
It's been I played the first Bioshock back when it came out, and recognizing that was 6 goddamn years ago, I don't know that I have the perspective on it.
Okay.
Like, I kind of want to go back and play the first Bioshock. Like, in the long...
I kind of want to do that, too, before the spoiler cast.
Yeah? It's a short game. I mean...
Yeah.
See, I think I've only played about a third to half of both of them, but at least so far, I wouldn't even consider them. I almost wouldn't even consider them the same series. They just seem like completely different, unrelated games.
Right.
Finish both the games, and then we'll talk about it.
Right.
Sure. Okay. Maybe it changes.
There are things that are different about them that I like. Like I really like the atmosphere of one, and I kind of like the political mindedness stuff of it. Whereas like thematically, I think that in Infinite, like the whole metaphysical thing that they have going on with it, like that specific plot device that they use for Elizabeth's powers is like one of the most fascinating things to me in fiction. I like that, and I think that the world in Infinite is kind of like more interesting to me. And there's more like hidden in Infinite as well. So there's more inferred narrative, whereas the Rapture series kind of has it does have inferred narrative, but it's in these kind of like micro kind of environmental, like what does this room say about the person who lived in it kind of sense.
Yeah.
What was you going to say?
What Inception did for movies, this Bioshock Infinite kind of did for video games, as far as giving you something really meaty to think about. And
right.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant give people motion sickness.
That's a bold statement right there.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's real good. I like it. It just really the last half hour, accepting the ending itself. The ending was amazing. The last half hour, just balls.
I had a second question. A minute before the ending, did you know that the ending was coming?
Kind of, yeah.
Okay. Because as the ending occurred, I did not know it was the ending.
Oh, yeah?
Once the credits rolled, it was like, okay, I guess it's the ending.
Yeah. Yeah. But, oh, man. What what loadout did you use, Ben? Just real quick, like since we haven't talked about the shooting as much, I think.
Sure.
Yeah.
The first time through, I used crows, and that was upgraded all the way so that when one person would die, there'd be crows over them, so it kind of chained. And I think I would use fireball on top of that because you could chain the two and have burning crows.
Right. Oh, cool.
But you could also chain it with electricity, I think, and have electric crows. But yeah,
that's my favorite ska band.
Oh, you beat me to it.
The second time I played through, though, I tried to use the skills that I hadn't used the first one. So I used the bucking bronco, and that was very satisfying.
Right.
Ability. So
yeah.
See, so far I've just used melee.
Gotcha.
Like
that's satisfying too.
No attacks or anything. Like no firearms.
I've used the firearm some. Even in like the first game, I just don't like the system with the magic and stuff. Just I don't know, but yeah, I use the firearm some, particularly the machine gun and I think the shotgun maybe. Mm-hmm. But I pretty much just use the vigors for like shaking down vending machines.
Right. Yeah, I love possession. Possession is real fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's one of them. It's definitely gives you one of those things to think about. I really like the plot to it, so we'll talk about that on the bonus level that we do about it. Additionally, I've got a couple of kind of flash games. First, I would like to say take a moment and play The Visit. Like not right now, but just in general, The Visit. It is really, really good. It's very short. It probably demands about like maybe 10 minutes of your time.
Oh.
It's people here have played Frog Fractions, right?
Yes.
I actually
until
never
I could
did.
go down.
What's that?
I played
I
until
never got around to that.
Yeah, Frog Fractions is real good, and The Visit is like Frog Fractions in that if I said anything about it, it would immediately ruin it for you.
Gotcha.
Right. So go and do that. Go and do likewise. Another game I played, another Flash game, another very short kind of thing. It's weird to even call it a game. It's more of like an interactive essay. than anything is called Dysphoria. It's spelled DYS, the letter, or the number 4, and then IA. It's made by an indie game developer named Anna Anthropy, something like that. Maybe that's her name. And it is about her experience with hormone replacement therapy, being like transgendered. And it's like told in 4 phases, and it's like, trying to convey like, here's what it's like to feel like you're in the wrong body. Here's what it's like to have doctors tell you that you can't take this medicine because of your blood pressure. Here's what it's like, taking this, this illegal stuff, or stuff that you buy off of the internet. And then the final chapter is like, oh, things are kind of starting to come together. And it's like in this WarioWare style of, like to talk, to talk about like, oh, you don't feel like you're in the right body. You have to like get, like a Tetris block kind of shape looking thing through a hole in a wall, but it's not the right dimensions in any regard, so it doesn't fit through. Whereas like as you progress along, it gets more likely to fit through, stuff like that. It's real interesting. It's popped up on a couple of podcasts, and it really kind of flared up in the gamers.text thread, which I don't know why I still read it, because it really just upsets me because people are lashing out because the internet is really, really transphobic. So I was kind of like, I might as well like play this because that's interesting. And it is interesting. I wouldn't call it like a really good game, but it's an essay. And it's worth your time because it gives you some insight into this thing that you otherwise might not have had insight into, which is real, like a nice learning experience, I suppose. And then what are we looking at? Sorry, my internet's kind of blowing up. Yeah, so I would recommend, that one's a little bit more straightforward than The Visit. Oh God, The Visit is so good. And finally, this is kind of the big one. Word Realms.
Is that the new like bookworm thing?
Yeah, it's bookworm style, except it is like crazy good. I don't much care for bookworm. This is more like, it's more akin to Scrabble than a word find, which is what bookworm kind of is. Mm-hmm. At least in my experience. This is the game that's published by the guys who make Kingdom of Loathing. Publish and develop. Yeah. Full disclosure, like I don't know. I wouldn't say I like know these guys. However, I speak with them, and I listen to their podcasts, and they listen to us. So they're friends of the show. So it'll sound like I'm shilling, but it is legitimately like really cool. It's so good. So like the idea is it's a role playing game with dialogue trees and things like that. You wake up after a night of binge drinking, and you're in this town that is like in dire straits because everybody's asleep and they won't wake up, and the Nightmare Lord is awakened again and things like that. And you have to go around and save this village by capturing people's nightmares with a special jar. And then going in and fighting them. All of the random encounters are they're handled like timed Scrabble. So you have tiles of letters that you're able to choose from, and then you either like tap them out to spell a word. And those words are worth different points, and the points translate into how much damage you do to the enemy, and you have special abilities. So it's like, oh, you can knock away like half of their tiles, so they have fewer letters to choose from, or you can just like straight up add more damage to the word you're about to do. And longer words get you more points. It really is like Scrabble rules. But like the magic of it is, and I'm not quite sure how they did it, but much in the way that Scribblenauts is like is interesting in that, like, if you type this thing out, something pops up and you're like, holy crap, how did they, what? They like when you type out this word, your character shouts an insult that's based on that word.
Really?
Okay. So think like insult sword fighting from Monkey Island, except with any word that you could conceivably put forward. And like some of them are, like kind of, just generic, just kind of like, how could we have worked that in? But like the majority of them, it feels like they were crafted either to know that like, oh, this one particular word, we want this gag to be in there. Or just kind of like saying like, okay, we know that this is an adjective, and an adjective would probably fit into this sentence, so let's write this funny sentence that adjectives could go into, and then it works, right? So like 3 from tonight, I put in the word sign, S-I-N-E, and my character shouted out, "I don't mean to go on a tangent, but this isn't a good sign for you."
Wow.
I typed in the word shank, and I said, "If we were in prison, I'd be shanking you right now." And then I put in the word shot, and then your character says, "If anyone asks, I shot first." Like, so it's this weird magical voodoo of both like really deliberately written content and incredibly good procedurally generated stuff that makes it seem like it was authored content, which is one of the things that they're really, really good at with Kingdom of Loathing, like brought over into this thing that it's delightful. Like, I write these words, I find these words, I find myself trying different words than I otherwise would, knowing that it would be a suboptimal choice just to see if they would be able to write a sentence around it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Have you found what they do if they don't have one?
It's, man, I can't think of a specific one, but they do have like generic barks, like blank. You don't blank, I blank, or something like that. I can't bring it to
Russia.
Kind of like that, yeah. And like if something is just not a word, you just miss. Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, and you get like gear, and you can level up, and fighting different enemies, do different things. Like different types of enemies have different let's say syntaxes around their stuff. So if you fight like a zombie, it'll be like real broken, just like blah. So it's like perspicacity, or if you are like there's a race of like goblin type things called gremlins, and they kind of speak in internet talk, like nice. They'll just say like lol manhole, something like that.
Are there trolls in it?
I'm not sure. I haven't got so I'm only about like halfway through according to the percentage meter, but there's like tons of quests that you can do. Like the thing that's I don't want to spoil too much of anything, but so I mentioned those nightmares. Like as you go around with this jar and collect these things, they equate to the boss battles, and you can unlock like special NPCs, ones that'll be useful. In order to get them, you have to kind of like do these boss battles. But each of these boss battles is a mini game, like variation on that. Nice. So I can say like the first one, or the second one rather, which is like if you want the blacksmith, you have to play his minigame, which is his nightmare. There's a zombie that is encroaching on him from the right side of the screen, and he's at the left side of the screen trying to forge a sword that he's halfway through forging. It's like, oh crap, I need to finish this sword before he gets over here. And so you have to type out words that the longer the word, the more points you have on the word, it fills up the meter. And so you have to fill up that meter before the zombie gets to you. And when you fill it up, he like takes the sword and he dips it in the water, and then he cuts the zombie's head off. So it's this timed, it's a real simple, like kind of like change on the rules, but they put this dressing around it that makes it feel like, oh crap, he's almost here.
That's really cool.
Yeah. It's like $11 on their website. It is so good. Again, full disclosure, kind of not associated. Like, they're real cool guys. Like they've been working on this for a long time. They kickstarted it. It's real fun. I like it a lot, and I really can't encourage you to go after it enough.
It does sound really cool.
Yeah. I mean, it's got their sense of humor and everything in it, too. What
systems is it available on?
It is on PC, Mac, and I believe Linux. It runs on Adobe Air, so it can like run on pretty much anything. So
nice.
Yeah. Yeah. I really encourage you to do that. And that's really all I've been playing. Any questions about that?
That's all I've been playing, the entire game of Bioshock Infinite.
Yes. I don't know. I was I did the same thing with Spec Ops, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a time constraint on that one.
Yeah, kind of, but like there's a little bit of a time constraint on this one too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now there is.
Oh,
we've reached critical mass.
I'm gonna go beat that this weekend.
It'll be like in a couple weeks. Don't worry.
So Cole, you mentioned Dysphoria. It was right?
Yeah.
That actually is a perfect segue into a game that I played that I liked a lot. It was called Lim, Lim.
Okay.
And it's a very simple game. It's actually made by a developer Let me see if I
hope
can. Excuse me. It's not made by a developer. So the person's name is Merit Kopus, and she like doesn't really have a background in game design. She's just kind of a general creative artist person type thing. But she made this game Limb, and it's very simple. The premise is that you are a square. So think like Thomas Was Alone style square.
Okay.
Use the arrow keys to move around. And while you are alone, your square just flashes brightly with all the different colors of the rainbow. However, as you go through rooms with other, brown or blue squares in them, if they see you that way, they will kind of react adversely. Some will kind of just start bouncing around and make your progress through the room hard. Others will actively attack you. And so you have to hold down Z to blend in.
Okay.
As you go through these rooms. But doing that kind of slows you down a lot, and the camera starts zooming in on you. And if you hold down Z for too long, you start kind of shaking and getting harder to control. And so it's all about getting through this maze of trying to blend in at the right points when people are watching, and managing that well enough, and not letting holding that all inside kind of ruin you. Even so. Mm-hmm. Which is just this really. So I think the Merit, the person who made it, is a gay woman. But it's we've used the term of games as empathy generators, mm-hmm. or empathy simulators, and I thought it's a free web game. Yeah, you can go play it right now in your browser, but it's a short experience and just really really powerful. That's taking a very complex, set of emotions, obviously, but just distilling it down into something very simple and accessible.
Yeah. How can we attach this to a mechanic that can communicate, if not in a complete, but in an elegant way, right?
Yeah.
The feelings that are associated with this.
Yeah, and it's like, I got into a situation where I couldn't make it all the way through the room. My avatar was shaking too much from blending in, so I stopped blending in for just a second, and then of course everyone's attacking me, and my immediate reaction is to go straight back to blending in and try to sorry, mm-hmm. but everyone's already attacking me anyway, and all of a sudden I'm realizing okay, why am I even trying to blend in? It's out and people are attacking me, so why even bother? It's just
oh wait.
yeah. And I don't think I could have gotten that kind of experience, or at least gotten it so simply and in such a concentrated dose in any other medium. Mm-hmm. So I thought that was really cool.
Right.
What else? I started 2 new games on XCOM. I beat it on normal mode, which is the second easiest difficulty. 2 difficulties up is impossible, and so of course I started a game on that. And then I started a game on easy mode, but I'm trying to play the entire game using only one soldier.
I'm sorry, what?
Yeah. So it is fundamentally a team tactics game. Your standard squad size starts at 4, and you want to try to kind of upgrade it to 6 as quickly as possible. And so I'm doing the entire thing, or trying to do the entire thing with one soldier.
Rambo mode.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, I mean that's like a classic Final Fantasy Tactics challenge run too.
Yeah, and it's actually been really interesting because I have to rotate soldiers. So technically, I have a couple soldiers in my roster, but I only use one at a time. And it creates this really interesting new level of depth to the game where I'm using mechanics that I had never bothered to use before, and I'm using I'm using upgrade paths for my soldiers that I never would have thought would be useful before. Just things like the entire first time I played through the game, every soldier has the ability to hunker down, and that means that you move to a spot and you hunker down. It doubles your defense. It grants you immunity to critical hits, but your line of sight goes completely away, and you're basically useless for the rest of that turn. And, when playing with 5 other teammates who are watching your back, there's no reason to ever do that. But when you're playing as a sniper that can't move and fire in the same shot anyway, or in the same turn anyway, to be able to get to the right cover and then hunker down knowing that you couldn't retaliate or you couldn't do anything aggressive anyway is incredibly useful. So it's and there's just like all sorts of stuff that's starting to come to the forefront, and I've been very impressed at how well I can play the game and how much fun the game is trying this really random way of going through it.
Mm-hmm. So yeah. I mean, so you're actually like succeeding at this
so far. So I've gotten, and granted, I haven't gotten too far into the game yet. I got to the first mission now that has melee enemies.
Enemies.
Yeah, they're called chrysalids, and they're basically these four-legged freaks with like pincers for arms that their entire shtick is just close the distance really incredibly fast and then melee you with really powerful attacks, which works. They're not too hard to figure out if you have a team to kind of distract them in different directions and to fire on them multiple times in a turn. When you only got one person, it's going to take you at least 2 turns to get them down. And I have not yet figured out how to get them, stay far enough away from them that I can still get in a hit and force them to take 2 turns to get to me. That compounded with the fact that they tend to travel in packs. So this is my first major difficulty wall, and I just reached it last night, so I haven't really figured out. Anyone who's played the game and has any thoughts on what strategies I might use. I've found XCOM is surprisingly good at, if you can think of a strategy, you can execute it with at least some degree of success, as long as it makes tactical sense. So,
Nuke them for more, but it's the only way to be sure.
So you're not doing this Iron Man, are you?
No, God no.
Okay,
no.
All right.
I mean, technically, there's not much difference from Iron Man, because if my one player on the team dies, then I have to start over.
Right.
But yeah, no, if Iron Man was that, then I wouldn't be able to like save during an actual tactical match, and yeah, that'd be much harder. Iron Man is probably the next new game that I'll start, and I will not do it on impossible difficulty or even probably their kind of next step up mode, the classic, I think it's called.
Right.
If I did Iron Man, I'd probably do it at the same difficulty level that I did the first time.
Right.
Now,
but yeah, it's fun. Just and I think I said last episode, they really do a great job of being self-aware that this is a game that is fun to play multiple times through, even though it's a pretty meaty campaign. That they give you this great sandbox of ways to customize your gameplay, or customize the rule set that you're beholden to as soon as you finish the game the first time.
Right.
Yeah.
Nice.
David, did you have a question? I didn't mean to cut you off there.
It's just, I know the previous game had some fairly nasty enemies that they could do some sort of like parasite type thing or something like that, and just like really quickly take out your party. Like one-shot kill type things. Is that still in it, or is that something that's kind of been deprecated?
Yeah, that would be the chrysalids. So normally, if you're playing with a team of people and they kill one of your soldiers, next turn that soldier comes back as essentially a zombie. And that zombie is very slow but has super high health. And that means that just your entire team's focus needs to turn to killing the zombie, because if you let the zombie go for too many turns without killing it has an alien burst out of its stomach style. That is like a super version of the chrysalid. So it's this really horrible spiral where, they'll get one of your soldiers, especially if there are missions where there are civilians around, because then it'll kill one of the civilians, which resurrects into a zombie. All your focus goes to killing that zombie, so the chrysalid is free to go kill another civilian, make a second zombie, then it's free to go kill one of your soldiers, and then all your ammo's out, so you're on the run from 2 zombies and a chrysalid, and it just devolves really fast. So, like I said, we'll see how that goes with only one soldier. Actually, that's the one thing I don't have to worry about with one soldier, is because if I get zombified, then game over.
Huh.
There's a multiplayer mode. I haven't dipped into that yet. I don't know what to expect from that, and I haven't read anything about it, so I might have to check that out. I am still playing that New World Colony strategy game, which is the same kind of tile turn-based strategy game. So maybe I would really like the multiplayer.
This is your this is your new your new genre.
I guess. And I've never had time for RTS before, but this is kind of a RTS light that I can really get behind.
It's a turn-based strategy. SRPG is really what it is.
There you go.
Yeah.
If you know any others of those that I would like, send them my way, because apparently I have a thing.
Final Fantasy Tactics.
Tactics
Yeah.
Ogre.
Tactics Ogre, okay.
Yeah.
Very
We'll
cool.
talk. We'll talk.
I know a guy.
Yeah. Anything else?
No, those are kind of the two things. Check out Lim. It'll take you all of 10 minutes to get through, and it's just like I said, a really great empathy generator.
Cool. I definitely will. Ben, you're up.
Yay. When you first said limb, I thought it was going to be a game about limits. I thought that would be really fun. But whatever. Okay. The only game that I've been playing this week has been Mass Effect 3.
Oh, cool.
Been continuing that, mostly doing side missions, doing a few of the main missions.
Can I read a text that you sent me?
Sure.
Let's see here. This was over the weekend. Let's see here. Also, the line between Cerberus and Team Rocket has seemed to vanish in this game.
Yep. It's like you just show up on a planet and it's like, oh, Cerberus is here. They're trying to meddle in the affairs of humans again.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I did.
Yeah, no, it's fine. That's kind of. It seems like they've kind of devolved. I'm using that word since I just heard it 5 minutes ago. But like they were interesting in the second game. For those who haven't played the game, Cerberus is like a pro-human organization, so they're basically trying to advance human status in the galaxy and try and make humans a contender amongst the different species, if not the best one,
right.
The best species. And so they do that by viciously murdering humans throughout the game.
Humans who refuse to assimilate.
Yeah. So they're pro-human in theory, not pro-human in action, perhaps. So yeah. So that's a little bit bothersome. They just kind of seem to just be the bad guys, And
Yeah.
so I was a little bit disappointed by that, but that's not a huge deal. For the most part, playing Mass Effect 3, it's starting to feel similar to Mass Effect 2 in style, which is a compliment, not a insult. But it's instead of building up your crew and trying to build up relations with your crew, you're trying to build up the human army and try and build up the defenses of humans as best as possible in order to have a kind of counterattack against the Reapers.
Yeah, Earth calls for aid.
Yeah. So the nice thing about that is it makes the side missions matter, because whether the mission's boring or fun, you're rewarded by basically points against the Earth's defense readiness, and so you can go through at any point in the game and look at all these different features that you've unlocked. Whether it's like I guess they call them like war assets, so
right.
things that'll aid humans. So it's kind of a nice progression system where you feel like you're constantly building towards something, and so games are nice like that when they have that nice overarching narrative like that, because everything you do feels significant in some way. Mm-hmm. So I've been enjoying it. I've just been doing side missions. That's about it. Yeah.
Have you hit like any of the major? Kind of like Mass Effect 2, there are these tentpole missions that you're going to have to go through. Mm-hmm. That like it just triggers and then you go to it. Like, have you been to Thessia?
So the last tentpole mission that I had was the one that I texted you about before the text that you read.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So it should be that one.
Mm-hmm.
There are others that are available, but I'm doing side quests before I do that one.
Yeah.
Perhaps I did one mission after the one that I texted you about. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah,
I see.
It's good. It's good so far. I told you. I expressed my opinions of where I was. I mean, this won't help the audience or anyone, but there was one decision of the game that I wasn't too happy about, but it happened. So
Yeah, no, I wasn't too happy with that either.
So whatever.
Yeah.
I liked your analogy of the game where it was a game that's filled with guts and punches. So.
Yes, like that particular scene that you're talking about, and like people who have listened to us talk about like what parts of Mass Effect 2 we like, specifically characters, can probably suss out what we're talking about. My text to you was that particular scene is a gut punch in the middle of a game that is made out of guts and fists. Like,
Yeah. That's a good way to describe the game. But,
yeah, it's downer after downer after downer. It is that like two was kind of like lauded as being this like, oh, it's the dark, edgy, et cetera, et cetera. This just like takes the grit and turns it all into despair.
It's like every mission somebody has to make a huge sacrifice.
Yeah, which it gets a little ridiculous after a while, but but yeah, it's I can see myself going back and playing the entire series, eventually. However, yeah, it's just real hard right now to justify that when there's so much.
I think it would be interesting to play through the series and like have everybody die in the second one.
Oh yeah,
and no, except for Shepard, I guess, so that you can actually play through Mass Effect 3.
so you can play through Mass Effect 3 not as Joker.
Yeah, actually, Mass Effect 3 accommodates that. It's a very different game.
Yeah, it's just a military funeral, and then the Xbox cuts a ring into the disc so you can't turn it on again.
Yeah. But I think that would be interesting to see kind of how they accommodate for both sides of the story.
Yeah,
so.
It's if I talked about the particulars of the way that they do that, because I've actually read about kind of what happens there. Just pay attention to who your team members that you can play as are, and like think about where they came from.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I can't wait to hear your thoughts on that as it kind of like draws to its final act, which is real interesting.
Yeah, of course. I know nothing about the ending, but I do know that there's a lot of controversy about the ending, so we'll see.
You're playing the patched version, likely. Like they make that like not mandatory, but you can get the complete ending now. Whereas when I played it and beat it, the complete ending was not available.
Just tell me this: is the ending more or less infuriating than the ending of Fallout 3?
Well, Kole liked it. You liked it, didn't you, Kole?
Yeah, I liked it.
Okay.
The ending of Mass Effect 3?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, no, it makes less sense, but it is not as okay. So it makes less sense like narratively, thematically, whereas the choice that you had to make, the quote unquote choice you had to make in Fallout 3, was infuriating mechanically.
I mean, the thing. Okay. Okay. Well, I mean, I guess because that was an ending that was kind of phoned in. I guess I wouldn't expect Mass Effect to do that. Is the end? Have you played God of War 3?
I've played it, but I've not beaten it.
Was that the last decent God of War game?
Yes, we can say with great confidence. Yes.
I mean, when they put out that game, they claimed that it was going to be the last God of War.
I mean, granted, I hated, I guess, the one I played, which was the first one, which was apparently amazing, but.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. That's the one where, that ending. Did you like that ending?
If anyone here has played both Mass Effect 3 and God of War 3 through, I would ask them how the endings compared. But since we can't join our knowledge like Vulcans,
I don't know. And just enjoy the ride, honestly. Like, don't worry about the ending, and don't think like, man, it's going to feel real shitty when it gets there. Don't dread it. Because, like, if you just let it happen, you'll probably enjoy it.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, Mass Effect 3. Like I said, I don't remember much of it, unfortunately, for as much as I love that series. Anything else, man?
I've been watching a friend play through The Walking Dead.
Oh, yeah. Well, what up are they up to?
End of chapter 4, beginning of chapter 5. So big things happen there. So interesting to see somebody else.
Dennis, have you beaten
respond to
this?
that.
No, I'm a slacker.
Where are you at, Dennis? I've watched the entire game be played in the last week, pretty much.
I know.
So you have
I'm
no excuse.
midway through chapter 4.
Last week you said it felt too gamey.
We just found. I just went down into the sewer. Like
Right.
even fucking Walking Dead has a sewer level. What? Anyway, so yeah, I don't know if that helps you with where I am, but yeah, it didn't start feeling too gamey. The story started feeling less natural, which is in a game that is 100 times more natural story-wise than any other game out there. But yeah, I mean, it's still very compelling, and it's not like I've fallen off or anything. It's just I'm marinating on some choices and some things that have
midway through an
happened.
episode.
I'm giving myself the space to digest it. I'm letting the undead tannins really
And really
get out
breathe.
there.
That's funny. Huh. Is that the grind?
I think
That's a
so.
grind.
I didn't talk about it, but Cole, I think I texted you. I am playing Super Stickman Golf 2 right now, and
Yes, you are.
It is freaking amazing.
Yeah, it's so good. Like, I'm trying to initiate multiplayer with you, but it is not working. So
Yeah. I got like I said, I saw your score on the first course, but it was a -3, which struck me as funny.
yeah, no, I think I've hole in one most of it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and then so yeah,
Wait,
we'll
but can
figure
you
that.
get a negative score? I mean, isn't
Yes.
Yeah,
that
that's golf.
you'd have to like go back in time, right?
No, there's a par. So
Oh, okay. It's how many under par. Okay.
right, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. That's
Although it is possible to take negative strokes on a hole in this game.
yes, it is.
Don't ask me how. Science.
Science.
Do you like spin? That doesn't make. All right.
Okay,
You
let's.
shoot the ball and it goes around the Earth in the opposite way of the spin.
Okay, so Superman flies backwards around the Earth. Lois Lane wakes up, and you get a killer score. So, yeah. Let's get away from the segment as quickly as possible.
Multiplayer.
It's time for the multiplayer where we ask you your opinions on things and stuff. And this week, the question is, have you ever gone to a midnight release? Did it live up to your expectations? I should have set the expectation that we were talking about video game releases because people are talking about all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, there's not a lot of love for midnight releases out there. I found out. But we'll delve into that. My gosh.
Although didn't we in a previous poll find out that like most of our viewers, or at least most of the viewers that write in, like have family, like have kids and stuff.
Most of them do, yeah.
Presumably they have family, but their parents, which probably cuts down on the whole midnight release thing.
Nah.
You'd be surprised how many kids I saw brought, like sleepy kids in strollers, just pissed off. It's like, oh man, don't do that. It's like the middle of November. What are you doing?
I had neglected to even think about coming at this from the retail side. There's some real deep cuts in there, some real interesting stuff.
Yeah, most of them are. So I'll go to started right away with Jala, who says, does working behind the counter for a midnight release count? Crazy fun, but also ridiculous mess. Just as you might expect. The campers and cosplayers were the highlights for me back in my retail management days. It was like a mini con. Yeah. So like most of I've probably gone to like one, maybe like 5 midnight releases. Recreationally, like for no reason other than just to be there. But yeah, most of mine were just from working them, and they are the worst. Mm-hmm. Yeah, my first one was Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, if you can believe that.
Wow,
I know, right?
You got to be Kole trained for the Gears of War release.
Yeah, I forget. Did I work that one? I don't think I did. I wasn't at that one.
I know for a fact that you said that in the spirit of things, people could call you Kole trained.
Oh yeah, you're right. That was that was Gears of War 3. I was thinking Gears of War 1.
Okay.
Yeah. No, I did work the Gears of War 1 midnight release. But I wore a
But you
fisherman's hat.
repressed it.
Yeah, but I wore a fisherman's hat and said I'm the sniper from I'm the sniper from Team Fortress. Wait, that doesn't make sense because Team Fortress was 2000. Oh God, that was 2007. Okay, I'm all mixed up.
Time travel.
I've
Cole
worked
is
so
Doctor
many of these
Who.
goddamn things.
Yeah, I was gonna say, or Bioshock Infinite.
The Doctor. Sorry.
So,
Which dimension were you in, Cole?
I don't know, the 7th. David, what does Tyler say?
1 sec, I'm navigating. Tyler says, I've never been to a game release, but some girls roped me into going to each of the Twilight premieres as the drunken dad cop, since I was the only friend with a prodigious enough mustache. If they ever come out with a Twilight game, you'd better believe I'll be doing it again.
Oh, contraire, mon frere, because there was a Twilight game. It was Seen It, the Twilight movies. You know, Seen It, where you watch stuff and you play a game answering trivia questions. Yep, it was for the Wii.
I've got to be honest, this one I feel like needs some interpretation. I was at work when this popped up, and it like made my entire day. Because the way I think I'm going to choose to imagine this is the idea was for some reason they needed a parent to get in, and because of his mustache, that was just like, no need to check IDs. With that mustache, can there be any question? And that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, no, I think the dad in the movies / books is a mustachio drunken cop.
No, I like David's version better.
I still
Nothing to
like
do with-
my interpretation better, but that makes more sense.
You've been outvoted, Cole.
Damn it.
We don't need facts.
The only real midnight release I went to was for Halo 2.
Oh yeah.
And that was ironically like marks the height of me liking Halo, and also like the point where I stopped liking Halo, because that was where like everyone I played with decided that Halo 2 sucked, and so like stopped playing and
Yeah.
just kind of bitched.
Yeah.
But I remember one of my favorite things there was where, you know, it turns to midnight, and all through like the line, cell phone alarms that people had set like 2 years ago start going off.
Yeah.
But more recently, I actually went to technically the midnight release for Borderlands 2. I'm not sure why, because I proceeded to then go directly to bed and then, like, play the next evening. But that was actually kind of depressing, because I pretty much just went, like, got my game, was really, really bored there, and left, and felt old.
Like that's like really that's the problem. Like I don't know if it's an old thing or just like a sensible thing, but like realistically, you're going to get home at like what 1:30. You know, or if that was more the case, you know, earlier before stores started getting their shit together, and you would get out at like 12:15. But you get home at 1:30, and what are you going to do? Just stay up all night and play it? Like,
see, yeah. And actually, the stores having their stuff together, that's part of what ruined it, though. Like, I went in, and it's just sort of like, oh, everyone takes the number, it's all orderly. It's like, that defeats the purpose.
Yeah, well,
chaos.
like inefficiency is the best part of this.
Yeah. I don't know. I did kind of have the urge. I've always had the urge to, like, go there and just, like, pre-order something and leave.
During the midnight?
Yeah.
Yeah, that like they would love you for that, honestly, because they're looking for turnover on that stuff. Man, yeah, it's real gross. I don't know. So I think I'm gonna insert my own story here, just because I can think of one that I worked, and B also was like a legitimately really cool midnight release for me. It was my birthday in 2007. When Rock Band came out.
All right.
Yeah, so Rock Band came out on the 20th. It was the night of the 19th. I was there like all night. I was like, oh man, I want to, I don't know if I want to work this, but blah, blah, blah. Just, okay, I'll do it. So like my payment for like moving those gigantic stacks of Rock Band, like just maybe not hundreds, but like maybe like 20, 25 of those gigantic boxes was to, on my birthday, go home with Rock Band and like sit down and put it together. And then on a whim, I also bought Mass Effect because that came out on the same day.
Oh man.
Yeah. That was a pretty good midnight release.
I didn't sleep
And then
for days and days.
I drove a rover around planets for days.
Oh, that was so freaking boring.
Yeah. No, that was a pretty good one. Hey, Ben, tell us what Murph says.
He says, as a former electronics boutique employee, by the way, I'm noticing a trend along with the people who listen to the show and broadcast the show. I did work launch day as a former electronics boutique employee, but back in the PS2 era, nobody was doing midnight releases back then. I did work launch day for PS2, which was actually okay since we only got like 6 units. We did have constant phone calls asking if we had them in stock. Also, a crazy dude who called us once an hour about the PS9, which I think was the fake commercial, right? Where yeah.
I have no recollection of that.
It was like this futuristic like sphere orb, and it was like the PS9. It was in the future.
I actually remember that, which is kind of scary.
It was definitely not a real thing, though. But anyway, Mirth Murphy further says, as the old man I am today, I drove up to the Mass Effect 3 release, looked at the line, and drove home.
Oh, that's funny. How about you? How about your story, Ben? Have you gone to any?
Yeah, so I was trying to rack my brain about this. I don't know if I have or not. I cannot remember concretely if I have. I know
so
I got
like blasted.
Yeah, that's right. I get way,
So much better.
Yeah, because I know I got Halo 2. I know I pre-ordered it, but I can't remember if I got it midnight of the night it came out or not. I got Arkham City day of, I know, but I can't remember if I got it the night before or not. So
yeah, that was when I worked out too.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I know I definitely get a lot of games day of, but usually I'd probably just wait until the daytime and then go pick them up. Right. But yeah, there was a second part to this question that I wanted to talk about. Oh yeah, I go to a lot of midnight release movies for some reason.
Right.
For some reason, I have no problem doing that. But video games, for some reason, I don't mind waiting.
Like midnight releases means different things now. Like a midnight release movie will air at 9:00 on the day before.
Yeah, it's like Black Friday, right?
Yeah.
Also, a midnight release movie, maybe this is just out of sight, out of mind, but considering I pretty much just go in there and watch it, I feel less awful forcing the employees to be there because presumably they're doing their own thing.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas I don't know, I always feel slightly bad going to a midnight release of a game.
Yeah, the sane ones hate you for being there. It's real rough. Hey Dennis, what does Gary say?
Gary says, "Of course not. Just pre-order if your game boner is that stoked."
Old man Butterfield. Yeah.
Also, Game Boner is the name of my ska band.
see, I'm curious if that means that he has never ever gone to one, or I don't know. There's just not enough information.
He's so old. That's all they had. He was around before midnight releases for games were around, so he's got to have gone to at least one.
Yeah.
Admit it.
He raises a good point, which is just Amazon Prime, dog. It'll be there when you get home from work. Still like this day of release, man. Just get it shipped.
I can understand why people get it midnight the night before. There's something exciting about getting it at the first available time that you can.
I suppose, as an event, yeah.
My version of this, because I am like a depraved PC gamer, is to leave Steam downloading it overnight.
Yeah, but
and then wake up in the morning.
But even that, if it's a high enough profile release, you can just preload it, right? So that like the second that it happens, like the second that they flip the switch. I did this with Portal 2. I stayed up until 3 a.m. so I could play it right when they flipped the switch because it was already downloaded and on my computer.
Nice.
You know,
pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tend not to do that just because they're on like crazy Pacifica time zone, so it ends up being like a 3 a.m. release.
I was also really really unemployed at that time, so it was like
more unemployed than normal.
Yeah, like you
actually had to give jobs.
I was a job creator. Oh man, yeah. So Geolaw goes on to say. I went to the midnight premiere of Harry Potter 4. Yeah, that's 4. And fell asleep. I didn't think there was a midnight release, but the only... I don't think that there was a midnight release, but the only game I ever got on launch day was Pokemon Stadium. Those mini games, man, worth every cent. Yeah. It was tough. You have to, like, the thing that I have trouble remembering about PS1, N64 is that like a definite release day oftentimes just wasn't a thing.
Yeah, very true.
It was just like, we'll get it when the store gets it. So there was no street date, there was no anything. So I remember being like this annoying kid who would call then it was Babbage's, but then it became the GameStop where I worked. A year later, like asking, is Pokemon Snap out? Is Pokemon Snap out? Is Pokemon Snap out? Is Mega Man Legends out? Tell me, is Mega Man Legends out?
And you would ask that all on one phone call too.
Yeah, and they came out in different years. It was real crazy. So like, no, Pokemon Snap is not out. However, Mega Man Legends has been out for several years, and we don't have any copies. Yeah.
I'd be interested to know what Geolaw thinks of Pokemon Snap, because that's the first thing I thought of when he mentioned liking Pokemon Stadium.
Yeah, God, Pokemon Snap is so good.
Yeah,
it's
that's
a really good game.
That game created, and no game has followed up on since.
Not true.
Africa for the PS3.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with that game.
You're on a safari, except instead of shooting for bushmeat, wanky. Instead of shooting a monkey to package them up and then sell them as food in different markets, mostly in China. You have a camera and it's published by National Geographic, but you're out there with this camera and you have to get photograph shots of different animals, and part of it is like a camera. Kind of tutorial. It's like, here's what f-stop is, and here is depth of field, and the different
it was
zoom
like
and things
heavily
like that.
Sponsored by Canon too.
Yeah.
If you take a picture with a lens flare, they just delete your save file.
Yeah, they send a crew to make sure that you're roundly punished.
Wasn't there also a game that was like a war reporter game or something?
I mean, like, Beyond Good and Evil had a photograph mechanic.
Yeah, I thought there was one that's like kind of like almost a simulation or something where you just like played like embedded reporter.
I don't know.
We could create that genre.
We definitely.
Yeah, that or maybe that was just me like running behind people in Call of Duty. I don't know.
See, but the thing to understand about Pokemon Snap is that it wasn't a picture-taking genre game. It was like some weird on-rails first-person shooter variant.
You had to put in the blood code in order to unlock the AK-47. Take that, Charmander.
I'll be honest, I would go and find that game again if that was a thing.
There were plenty of sites there was a heyday, and there was a heyday in the like the late 90s, early 2000s of like hate sites. So like there's one for Barney. It was like rudimentary GIFs and videos and images of like Barney with his head cut off, and then they did one for Pikachu as well. By they, I mean the people who made this thing. So
right,
you're describing it might have actually been a thing on Newgrounds in 1999.
Well, wasn't that what like Hey You Pikachu was basically a game where you curse at Pikachu?
Yeah, where you could yell at Pikachu. It was Seaman without Leonard Nimoy. And without the pun in the title. Yeah, Seaman was really good. I really want that to be on like 3DS or something. Hey, David, what does Sam say? It's down
Sam
a little bit,
says-
don't worry.
Sam says people go to stores to buy games, which is a man after my own heart. But then, only half joking here. I go to physical stores if I need something immediately. For example, an extra controller before some friends come over. Otherwise, never.
He goes, there's more.
Oh, is there?
Yeah. You see, he finishes by saying, also...
Otherwise, never. Also, I'm really pale.
Another common theme of listeners and producers of the show.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah. So the thing that, like... So the midnight releases that always baffled me, going back to... let's say like 2007. So one of the craziest midnights I worked was the Burning Crusade, the WoW expansion. And it's all these people line up and they buy it as like the biggest, craziest thing like since like San Andreas, and Halo 3 hadn't yet happened. And it's like, you're going to go home, install this, and then you're not going to be able to log onto the server. There is literally no point to you having the game right now. Not only that, the reason that there's no point to having the game right now is because there are millions of other fuckers like you who are doing this all at the same time.
One, also, I mean, generally, the game is not a thing. Like, if you've actually been playing Halo, World of Warcraft, all you're really buying is a CD key.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a whole other interesting economics story.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Ben, wait, is there anybody who hasn't told a story yet?
I think I'll tell mine.
Do it. Yeah.
I don't think I did. Actually, mine was wholly unremarkable. I'm kind of mad that I didn't see any of these cosplayers or super nerds or anything. It was for Borderlands 2. And I drove up. There were people in the store, but no line. And I kind of went in, grabbed my game, went out. The whole thing took about 30 seconds. And I went home and played it for maybe a half hour before being like, okay, I can't do this. Crash.
Which game was this? I missed that.
Borderlands 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Huh. Yeah. I mean, that's what they are now. It's like... They pre-sell it. Like, you show up, they say, hey, we're going to open the door at 11 o'clock. Show up then. We'll ring you out. We'll give you the receipt that you can redeem for this. And then just when it hits 12:01 or whatever, you show us the receipt. We hand you the game or whatever you bought, and then you're on your way out. Like, if they're still there at 12:15, something went wrong.
Yeah, and it's I think that's part of the reason for asking the question is like I'd always heard these fabled stories and. What happened? I was kind of expecting a certain amount of pageantry to go with this.
Yeah, the heyday of this was 2004, I think.
The heyday of this was 8 years old.
Kind of. I mean, like San Andreas and Halo 2, like those were really big experiments and forays into this, and it was before they had optimized
I'm sorry, did you say
process.
Forays?
Yes.
No,
I refuse.
I refuse to acknowledge that.
Okay, that's fine.
I don't accept your vocabulary.
Say it again.
Just wanted to check.
That's funny. Yeah. And then finally, does anybody want to take the last one?
I can.
Okay.
So Christopher Schlee says, not for a game. I buy games when it's convenient for me, either at a store after work or if I'm out or online. Lines are shit. Never for a movie either. Oh man, you really don't like midnight releases. I tend to wait a bit because I like less people around for movies, because it's fun to comment without an annoying shh from some jerk. The closest I've come is working at Borders for some of the earlier Harry Potter book releases. Oh, I bet those were insane. I remember wearing a top hat for one of them. Everyone kept on asking me who I was supposed to be. Obviously, a sophisticated man. Working for minimum wage. Now be gone, witch woman.
Which is, it makes sense because witches.
It's less of a, yeah.
Yeah.
I love how many how many fucks our viewers apparently don't give as a whole.
They have no fucks to give. That's ridiculous. Amazon Prime, you order it like a month in advance. It doesn't. You don't pay for it until it ships, and then you just show up at the door one day, and things that you forgot that you ordered are just there, making your life wonderful.
See, that works well for you. However, I check my mail roughly once a month, so
Yeah, that's true.
So you have like a bounty of games every month.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. Do we want to go on to end bosses?
Sure.
Cool. Thank you so much, everybody, for participating in that thing. If you would like to watch for future topics in that matter, you can go to Facebook.com/levelpodcast or follow at Duckfeed.tv on Twitter, where you can see those. I'm getting a little bit better about putting them out early, so that's good. So end bosses.
The end boss.
Time for the end bosses, where we just say a thing that's happening in our heads. I'll go ahead and lead with mine. Watched all of Arrested Development Season 4.
Nice, dude.
In the 24 hours.
You've been putting in work this weekend, dude.
Yeah, on my holiday weekend. I played all of Bioshock Infinite, and then I watched all of Arrested Development Season 4. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty good. There are some rough episodes, but stuff that doesn't make sense at the beginning makes a lot of sense at the end. And the way that they formatted it, I think that I like it, even though I know that it was because they had a limited shooting schedule. Yeah.
Word.
Nice.
Have you seen it, Ben?
I am on episode 8 or 9.
Yes.
So I'm about halfway through.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are complaining about only the first couple of episodes, but once you get into it, you kind of see what's going on.
Once you realize what's happening, like once you realize their character specific episodes, it makes a little bit more sense. And then you realize, oh, they're retreading the same ground over and over, except for multiple different angles. So it takes that thing that I loved about this series, which is the self-referentialness, and then just pulls the string even tighter to make it as knotted as possible.
Yeah, because not only is it self-referential, but it's going through scenes from different perspectives,
right?
Which is something that the regular show did not do.
Right. Yeah.
But they could, I was thinking about this as I was watching it, they could make an entire season where telling all the stories at the same time. You know what I mean? You could make it in the format of the previous seasons, and I wonder how it would be if they did that. So.
Oh, if they untangled it, I thought about this too. If they untangled it and just did it linearly, it would be 3 episodes long.
Do you think?
I think so. Yeah.
Because each. Well, whatever. We can. We'll talk about it later.
Okay.
Arrested Development spoiler cast.
Yeah, right.
Oh man. Yeah. So that's mine. Who wants to go next?
Since you mentioned the holiday weekend, happy Memorial Day, and thank you to anyone listening who serves.
Yes.
We very much appreciate it.
Definitely. Was that yours?
That would be mine.
Okay. Cool. How about you, David?
I honestly don't have much between work being crazy, trying to get ready to move to Cincinnati, and because apparently, according to Dennis, I'm an incredible nerd, trying to finish up Battlestar Galactica so I can cancel Netflix. I have done very little else.
Battlestar Galactica is a formidable end boss, I feel like.
Yeah.
So.
I now, as I think I mentioned, I now have All Along the Watchtower stuck in my head, and it won't go away.
Which version?
Really annoying.
Dylan or Hendrix?
Or Dave Matthews Band, also good.
I believe Dylan.
Okay. They're really easy to tell apart.
I always confuse the two of them.
Oh man!
No, it was
funny.
the one I heard that is it for me was the remake
The Hendrix. Yeah, Hendrix.
Trying to think.
Hendrix.
I'd have to pull it up.
Yeah.
I know very little about music.
That's fine. Ben, how about you?
My end boss is I'm going to San Francisco this weekend to visit some friends. So,
cool.
So consequently, I have to do a lot of work in a little bit of time, and so that's part of the reason why I was late. So sorry about that.
That's fine. No, definitely understood. I mean, how dare you disrupt this show with your work? It's not like I've done that several times. So that's cool. Yeah, enjoy it. You've been before, right?
I have once before. Yeah,
cool.
So I will also stock up on coffee while I'm there. So
yeah,
my roastery coffee beans are dwindling. So
from
Cincinnati.
You're from Cincinnati. I was gonna say, like, wait a minute, Rose Street is Cincinnati. Hyper local stuff. How about Skyline Chili?
The thing about Cincinnati is Adriatico's.
Yeah, Adriatico's. Oh man, on Friday for lunch we had Dewey's Pizza, and then for the holiday they brought in Grater's ice cream.
Oh,
yeah, that was pretty good.
I was gonna say you can't make sounds for that because you can get that right now.
Yeah, that's true. No, I know I can't. It was the memory. Well, like, I suppose you have the memory too. Quite frankly, that's all you have. I'm sorry.
you can ship graders anywhere in the United States.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, I don't really care about that.
Yeah.
You can also get Skyline at any supermarket, which I don't understand.
You just buy it in the can. Yeah.
It's totally not the same.
Right.
But who is buying this? Like, I've never met anyone outside of like the tri-state that even like has had it before. But if you go to any Kroger's, there are just cans of it.
Well, also it's Kroger's. Kroger is a Cincinnati company.
That's true.
And it's purely on the Eastern Seaboard. Also, Cincinnati style chili is a thing outside of Cincinnati.
Also, Skyline Chili dip.
So it's sort of like when the Dutch East India Company would send out products to try to civilize the.
I suppose. Bring them over to our way of thinking. I really don't like Cincinnati style chili. It's okay. It's okay on a coney. It's okay on a coney. But I'm going to say something heretical. I like Gold Star better.
I've actually never had Gold Star just because there wasn't one conveniently near campus. But
yeah,
it's weird. I like the chili. I really like it, but it's something that like I'll eat like once a month and like really, really want it when I get it, but would never want it more often than that.
Right. Man, I could go for a coney. All right, want to button it up?
Let's do it.
Okay.
The credit.
We just did like 3 minutes about Cincinnati food.
As it should be.
We have culture, damn it.
And go and do likewise. That was level number 22 of our program here called The Level, a podcast for people who love video games, stalling for time until I realize. Okay, there's some things that you can do. You can go to iTunes. You can subscribe, leave us a rating, leave us a review. You can go to Duckfeed.tv, check out other episodes of this show and also other shows on the network. Currently, we are in the middle of a Kickstarter campaign for Watch Out for Fireballs. We've been successfully funded, but we're going after some stretch goals, so give that a look at the very least. We have... so I can do this. We've already revealed kind of the mid-month surprise, so you can check that out on that show, but I should tell you, the topic for the live show that we're kickstarting is Super Mario Kart.
Oh, nice.
I know, right? So yeah, we're going to be unveiling like a T-shirt design that's specific to that. It's going to be real cool. So yeah, check that stuff out. And also with the mid-month surprise, we are technically adding a new show to the network, Abject Suffering, which was bonus content for Watch Out for Fireballs, but now we're making it available to everybody because it is really funny. So that's going to be available by the time you hear this. So check that out as well. That's a bunch of other stuff. Watch out for the multiplayer topics. You guys have been killing it lately. You guys, can we get a round of applause for the listeners? Just like stepping up and like just dropping the heat on us in some very real ways. Yes, thank you. Your enthusiasm is appreciated. So
So our audience members have to watch out for fireballs and multiplayer questions?
I guess, yeah. No, just keep an eye. But they've been keeping an eye, so just beware. It's coming to get you. We're coming to get you. Did I miss anything, fellas?
Give us money.
Oh, yeah. Just in general. But that also reminds me, we do have the tip jar. If you're going to be buying anything off of Amazon to avoid a midnight release, you can use our link, add that thing to your cart, buy it. Doesn't cost you an extra cent, but we do get a little cut of that. And it helps us with things like server costs and, hosting the website, et cetera, et cetera. It is really helpful.
I suppose I should say indirectly give us money, then.
Yeah. We're not going to beg. However,
it's just just a couple pennies off of each dollar. No one will ever notice.
just a couple of fractions of a penny. So let's do the outros. This has been Kole Ross. That is at KOLEROSS. Kole Ross on Twitter.
I am Dennis Furia at DFuria on Twitter.
I'm David Moneysmith at Moneysmith777.
I'm Ben Merkel at Merkelizer.
Holy crap, did you just screw that up?
Yeah, I forget my name sometimes.
Ben and Merkel? You're due for another toot, aren't you?
I guess so.
Yeah.
Toot again.
Yes. His bi-yearly toot. So keep an eye on that. It is a real treat whenever that happens. So, in the meantime, thank you for listening. I don't have a clever thing to say. So. My name is Kole Ross.
I'm Dennis Furia.
I'm David Moneysmith.
And Ben Merkel will be joining us shortly, I am led to believe. And you're listening to... Fuck.
We can just take it all from the top.
We can just take it all from the top. Why don't we?